Hi friends, it's Miss Sally, and today we are going to be doing a science experiment called How Sturdy is Spaghetti? What? But before we can get into the experiment where we test how sturdy spaghetti is, we need to know what the word sturdy means. So I want you to take your thinking cap and stick it on your head. Make sure it's nice and tight. Oh yeah, mine is nice and tight. Make sure you grab your listening ears and stick those on as well because we are going to need them today. So let's get back to the word sturdy. What does sturdy mean? Well, I remember from the architecture unit that if something is sturdy, that means it's really strong. Let me see your strong muscles. Yeah. So, if something is sturdy, that means it's not just going to fall down when the wind blows. Or if someone touches it, it's not going to fall down. It's going to be nice and strong. So, how do we test if something is sturdy? How do we know if something is sturdy? Well, we could do the big bad wolf test. Do you remember what that test is? So, there were 3 little pigs and 1 big bad wolf. And these 3 little pigs had these beautiful houses, all made out of different materials. But the big bad wolf wanted to come because he was hungry. So, he tried to blow down the houses. And if you remember, it goes like this. And I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down. So, we are going to be using the big bad wolf test today. We are also going to be using our fingers boop, boop, to help us tap our structures to see if they're sturdy. So, before we go and test how sturdy our spaghetti is, I want to create a structure out of these books to see if I can create a sturdy structure. So I have 6 books in front of me, and I'm gonna create like a rectangle. It's gonna be long on the sides and short this way. And I'm gonna put 2 books on top to kind of act like a roof. It's kind of gonna look like a house. So I'm gonna take my 2 longest books, which are these ones, and I'm gonna place them on the sides. But let's see if this stands up by itself. Do you think this book is going to stand up, or do you think it's going to fall? Let's see. So I guess this book by itself isn't that sturdy. It won't create a sturdy structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the book just a little bit to help create a very sturdy structure. Because if I do the big bad wolf test on this one, I don't think it's going to fall over. Do you think it will? All right, let's try it. Can you do it with me? And I huff, and I puff, and I blow your house down. So this book by itself is pretty strong. It's pretty sturdy. Let's see if our entire structure will be sturdy as well. So I'm going to open it just a little bit. I'm going to put a book behind. So right now I have 3 sides, and I'm going to add my 4th side. So it's going to go right here. And it's not falling over yet. It looks pretty good. I have 2 books that I'm going to place on top to act as my roof. So let's take a moment here and let's make some predictions. What do you think is going to happen when we do the big bad wolf test, or when we tap it? Do you think the structure is going to be sturdy? If you think it's going to be sturdy, why do you think that? All right, are you ready to test? On 3, we're going to do the big bad wolf test. I'm going to scooch over here so I can really use a lot of air to blow it over, or try to. So, 1, 2, 3. And I huff, and I puff, and I blow your house down. So, this structure survives the big bad wolf test, but let's use our fingers for the tapping test. Let's see. I'm not pressing too hard, but I'm pressing hard enough that if it wasn't sturdy, it would fall. So, I think in conclusion, this is a pretty sturdy structure. And I'm sure if I pressed it really hard like this, it would fall over. But that's okay. So for our next experiment, we are going to test just how sturdy spaghetti is. So for our first experiment to test how sturdy spaghetti is, I have 15 strands of spaghetti and 1 piece of styrofoam. We're gonna put these strands of spaghetti into the styrofoam. We're gonna do our big bad wolf test, the tapping test, and then another test with some books. So, I already counted this out as 15, but I need some help double checking. So as I put each one in, please count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, are you counting? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Can you see me still? So, I have 15 strands of spaghetti. Let's do our big bad wolf test to see if these strands of spaghetti will stay up. Ready? And I huff, and I puff, and I blow your spaghetti down. So the spaghetti went past the big bad wolf test. Let's try the tapping test. So they seem to be pretty strong when they're in the styrofoam. But we have a third type of test. And we are going to put some books on it. If they keep surviving the test, we can keep adding more books. So the first book that we're going to use is a paperback book. It's pretty flexible, it's pretty light, because spaghetti's pretty light too. So I don't want to put something too heavy on it, because then I think it would just collapse. But let's stop here and let's make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen when I place the book on top of the spaghetti? Do you think the spaghetti structure will be sturdy enough to hold the book up? Are you ready to see what happens? All right, let's try it. So I have my spaghetti structure here, and I have my book. So I'm going to place the book on top, and let's see if your prediction is right. So it doesn't look like any of the spaghetti broke. I still have all 15 pieces, but the book did not stay on top. Let's try it one more time with this book. Oh my goodness. This time, when I put the book on the spaghetti, lots of spaghetti pieces broke off. So when we have spaghetti vertical, when it's vertical, that means it's going up and down. Is spaghetti strong enough to hold up a book? Our predictions, were they right? Did you predict that the spaghetti was going to break? If you didn't, that's okay, because it's just a guess, because we really don't know what's going to happen. Wow, how incredible was that? Okay, so we know that when the spaghetti was horizontal, when it's in the styrofoam and it's going up and down, it's not that sturdy, because when we put the book on top, boop, the spaghetti broke. So it wasn't strong enough to hold up the book. But we're going to try it horizontally. So kind of like we did during the architecture unit, we're going to create a bridge. We're going to do that in just a moment. But I want you to make a prediction on what you think is going to happen. Do you think that the structure will be sturdy enough to hold up the books? So before we test if our spaghetti is sturdy horizontally, I want you to pause this video and grab a piece of paper and a pencil, or any type of writing utensil that you want. Because in just a little bit, we're going to be drawing our prediction instead of saying it. So now that you have your piece of paper and pencil, you can just put that to the side because we're going to be using that shortly. So in order to test how sturdy spaghetti is horizontally, we're going to be using 15 pieces of spaghetti again. And this time we're going to be using 2 pieces of styrofoam to create kind of like a bridge. So I have 15 pieces that I counted once, but again, I'm going to need your help in double checking to make sure I have 15. So count with me, please. 1, just going to move over a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I have my 15 pieces of spaghetti, and right now they look like this. But I'm just gonna push them closer together because I think it'll help create a sturdier structure. So this is what our spaghetti bridge looks like. And what I want you to do with your piece of paper and pencil is draw your prediction on what you think is going to happen. So when we put the books on, do you think the spaghetti is gonna fall? Or do you think it's going to be nice and sturdy and strong and hold the books up? So pause this video, take a moment, and decide your prediction. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so now that our spaghetti structure or our spaghetti bridge is all set up, let's do the big bad wolf test to see if it will survive that. All right, on 3. And I huff, and I puff, and I blow your spaghetti down. So the spaghetti definitely survives that first test. All right, let's try the tapping test. All right, the spaghetti's staying up for the tapping test, and I'm not pressing too hard because I know that if I went like this, the spaghetti would break everywhere. So I'm testing it just enough, and it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. But now, this is where we're going to see if your prediction was right or not. And remember, if what happens isn't your prediction, that's okay, because no one really knows what's going to happen. It's just a guess. So, now we're going to start placing some books on top of our bridge. I'm going to start with a light book. This is just a paperback book with only a couple pages in it. Okay, 1 book down. Let's see if we can do another one. 2 books. 3 books. 4 books, 5 books. Spaghetti stayed, but the books fell. 5 books. 6 books. 7 books. 8 books. 9 books, 10 books. Ooh. This is heavy. 11 books. Ooh, staying. 12 books. 13 books. 14 books. 14 books. But look at what I noticed. The spaghetti did not break. What happened was the books were too heavy and it just kind of went like this. It pushed the styrofoam out, but the spaghetti did not break. Does that match your prediction of what you thought was going to happen? Did you predict that the spaghetti would fall and break? Or did you predict that the spaghetti would be sturdy enough to hold all of these books? My goodness, this is so heavy. So now that we completed both of our experiments, we get to answer the question, how sturdy is spaghetti? So when the spaghetti was vertical, when it was going up and down in the styrofoam and we put the book on top, how sturdy was the spaghetti? A couple pieces broke off, but most of them stayed. So I guess we could conclude that the spaghetti was mostly sturdy. It was pretty strong, but it wasn't strong enough. But what about when we put the spaghetti this way, when it was horizontal in our bridge? Was the spaghetti sturdy enough to hold up the books? Yeah, it was. So in this experiment, we are able to conclude that the spaghetti is sturdy enough or strong enough to hold 14 books, which I think is pretty incredible. So I think we can conclude that the horizontal experiment was more successful because none of the pieces of spaghetti broke. What do you think we could do next time for the vertical experiment to make it more successful? What can we do so that the spaghetti doesn't break? We could try adding more spaghetti. Maybe we could put a piece of styrofoam on the bottom and the top. These are all things that we could try next time just to see how sturdy spaghetti is vertically, which is pretty interesting because who would think that spaghetti is that strong to hold all of these books, these 14 books? So I now have another question. When we were making predictions, did you like making your predictions orally, speaking, and saying your predictions out loud? Or did you like drawing your prediction better? Which one was more challenging for you? Making predictions out loud or drawing your prediction? Thank you guys so much for watching this video and working with me during our science experiment. Also, I want to thank you for helping me answer the question, how sturdy is spaghetti? Thank you guys so much. Bye. See you soon.